I find, and this is no exaggeration, probably about 80 to 90% of the time that something goes wrong for me, it's because someone else was incompetent or didn't do their job. Just being honest. Today is Friday, the 12th of January, 2024. And here is my lovely wife, Kat, to join me for every single piece of content that I put out from now on. Or maybe not. I'm just kidding. As you know, earlier this week, on the 7th, I received 200 gifted memberships from Nikita. Whoever that is, because that's not a regular. That's not someone who talks in the chat. It's just someone who dropped 200 memberships on the community. You guys got them. As you can see, we still have them. They still count, right? You all have them. The next day on the 8th, another 200 gifted memberships dropped. Like, whoa, same thing from this Nikita person. And we're all so grateful and happy. It's such an awesome, positive feeling, right? And then a day passed, and then on the 10th, so this was back on Wednesday, during my daytime stream, another 100 memberships dropped, and this time it was by someone whose account was named Duty. Now, immediately this caused drama. Why? Because one of my detractors slash restreamers slash hate watchers slash internet stalkers, their name is like Duty Streams or something like that, and people were like, oh, was it them? Yes, it was. So thank you so much to Duty Streams for gifting me 100 memberships.
Thank you. Thank you for helping me.
No, I don't think it was them. You know, it's a stupid association. But, I mean, you could definitely say, gee, isn't that kind of weird that this particular person is using that name and then gifting 100 memberships to your community? Yeah, it is weird. And again, we looked at the account. The account has existed for 3 years. It's not like a brand new dummy account made on YouTube. Who knows why an account named Duty, all of a sudden, they've never spoken in the chat, and they're dropping 100 memberships on the channel, right? Now, obviously, I don't look a gift horse in the mouth. I'm happy for this. And by the way, if you guys haven't noticed, all of you have kept these gifted memberships. You have them all, so it looks like they've stuck, right? Except, you know, I'm checking every day on YouTube. It's now been 5 business days since I received that first batch of gifted memberships. Remember, it was the 7th, I said? They still haven't counted them towards my revenue on the channel. It's as if they don't exist. Now, what does that mean? Does that mean that YouTube is skeptical about a large amount of gifted memberships? By the way, I just kicked the camera. Sorry about that. Does that mean YouTube's skeptical and doesn't want to count them because they're worried that maybe, you know, it was a fraudulent thing? Phil's a scam artist. I don't know. See, here's the thing with me. I don't track this stuff. I just, you know, you just let it ride, and then whatever you get, and whatever you don't, right? And in general, the estimate that YouTube gives you of your revenue for the month is usually correct. And then what ends up happening a lot, is when they do their final, like, month-end estimates of your income, sometimes your income will actually shoot up because there's things in there that weren't factored in properly over the month. That's happened, where it says, oh, you're going to make this much, okay, and then I actually get paid, and I'm like, oh, it's actually more than what they had said I was going to get, and that's kind of a good thing. It's a little bonus or whatever, right? So, that's the thing, like, you guys have the memberships, right? Oh, and by the way, I have to move the pop-ups. I'm very glad. Thank you very much to Eva Cowboy Fan 1996 for doing that, because I got to remember, I got to move this back down to the bottom right now after our special stream on Wednesday night. It's a good reminder there. So yeah, like, you guys kept the memberships. It's not like YouTube said, oh, well, we're skeptical, so we're taking them away or anything. You guys still have them. That's good. And you know what? I'm happy that even if this is some kind of a weird, big fraud campaign against me, at least you guys are keeping the memberships and keeping all the benefits. I'm happy for that. I'd rather have you keep them. You know what I'm saying? Snort. But, you know, I have to be skeptical. You guys have to remember something. I've had so many malicious, fraudulent, even criminal things happen to me over the years. You know, remember years ago, someone was coming in with insane amounts of fake tips that were from actual stolen credit cards they bought off the black market. And so they would come in and do these tip bombs, and the next thing you know, they weren't real. And then I had to basically undo them and uncount them. And, you know, it's a big mess. It's a big thing. There's all kinds of stuff like that over the years that have happened. Chargebacks and stuff.
Phil, your days are done. We know that you've been committing tax fraud, and we are going to get you. Ha ha ha.
So, yeah, when I get a big thing of positivity like that, like these member bombs, I do have to kind of be skeptical. It's kind of the better thing to do, is to err on the side of caution rather than just say, yeah, I'm just going to get it no matter what, you know. So I'm looking, I'm like, dude, it's been almost a week, 5 business days, and still YouTube's not counting these memberships. What is going on with that? All right. So I don't know. And I actually don't even know if YouTube will even confirm or deny these memberships by the end of the month. I mean, we still have like 2-3 weeks left in the month. I don't know how YouTube does it. The only thing I could do is at some point, if it's still, like, let's say I wait another week and it's still not showing up, maybe I could try to contact YouTube Help. Like, they have a chat for partners, and say, can you take a look at this and let me know what's going on? But the last time I tried to contact them for help, they don't help at all. It's just someone sitting there in like a call center on a computer going through a checklist of answers, and they don't understand the answers themselves. They have no like self-consciousness of what they're talking about. They're just typing answers off of a sheet that they're told to answer from. They don't know anything. Everything went wrong on YouTube. Okay, so it might be completely worthless. I don't know. I mean, if anything, you know, if at least I could talk to them and be like, hey, what's the maximum amount of time I need to wait to confirm I'm actually going to get, you know, something positive from a gifted membership, or that you guys might reverse it or whatever. I don't know. It's weird that they're keeping them all in limbo like that. Because think about it. 500 plus gifted memberships in limbo. That's a lot. That's a ton of income. That could help me a lot. Think about that. I mean, that's a ton. That's super helpful if that actually counts towards the channel. That could help so much moving forward next month. So I hope they're real. I hope they count. I'm glad you guys got them and are still reaping the benefits of them. But if I don't get them, yeah, that really stinks. Okay? So that's the only real negative thing that I really have to talk about right now. All right? And I want to get that out of the way because we have so much good positive stuff to focus on today's show. I'd rather get that out of the way. Obviously, I'll let you know what happens if and when I get information. I don't know when I'll get information. I might never get information. I might not know till I get paid by YouTube in a month. All right? That really sucks. So, it is what it is, but let's at least be happy for the fact that the channel is at a record high. I mean, 1170 is the record. Hell, being over 1100 is crazy, right? The money. Show me the money. But some people just don't get it. If you spam the chat 40 times with the same question and we're still not answering it, there's probably a reason. That wasn't the only case. There was probably like 10 different people who were spamming the chat with the same question over and over. It's like, how did you not get the hint the first 9 times that I ignored your question that I'm not going to answer it, right? Because, of course, you get people who are nice. You know, what's your favorite food to make for the family, right? What's your favorite game of last year? Those are great questions. Not, hey, what specific brand of something are you wearing or doing, and how much money do you spend on it, and this and that, and it's like, what? And I'm like, what the fuck? Are you fucking serious? Like, why would you ask that? You know, it's like prying questions into private stuff, or even to like, because here's the thing, you know that people always try to turn stuff into something it's not. So imagine if like, on a stream, I tell you exactly how much money I spent on a shirt and what brand it is. Next thing you know, you got people micromanaging. Well, you see, Phil made this much money on a stream and he spent this much on a shirt. And I know that sounds insane, but that's what they do. So, I mean, we're not going to be answering ultra-specific, nonsensical questions like that on a stream. It's the first time someone's appearing on stream in 5 years. You would think you'd have, like, smart questions, not the dumbest, most menial, specific, prying questions, which we're not going to answer, obviously. But, you know, it's always a mix. What can you do? You're going to get people who are just going to try to be stupid and pry into nonsense, right? Couldn't that money have been used on bills? Of course. Of course it could have been. I would assume some of it did get used on bills. But when you're gifted money for a holiday, you're actually supposed to use it for something, you know, for the holiday. So I saw a couple things, and one of the running themes was, oh, you just kept constantly talking over her and interrupting her. So I asked her, I said, did you feel like I was doing that? She said, no, I don't even know what they're talking about. I know, because, you know, the thing is, if she's giving an answer and I feel like I can add to it because there's something that we've talked about personally in a conversation, then I'm going to jump in and chime in. That way it feels organic. As opposed to if I just let her talk endlessly and then I never chime in, then you could not get to a certain part of a conversation that could be much more interesting. And this is something that actually used to happen also when I used to do co-op stuff with John Rambo back in the day. I could just sit there and let him talk endlessly about what he's saying, like when we're doing our wrestling commentary show that we used to do. Or I could chime in with something additional, and he's like, oh yeah, and then he'll follow up, and then you have a back and forth, as opposed to just, I'm talking, now that person is talking, now I'm talking, now that person is talking. Instead, you can actually have what's called conversational tone, which is more natural than just one person talking and then having a dialogue, then the other person has a single dialogue. It's a little better. Blah 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 blah. You see? But the thing is, people have not heard Kat talk in over 5 years on stream. So I think a lot of people just were really attentive to what she was saying. And of course, you hear me talk every single day, all day. So obviously what I'm saying probably isn't nearly as interesting as what you thought she was saying, because she's the person you haven't heard from. So I understand that feedback and I accept it, and thank you. I asked her and she said no, she didn't feel that way. But here's the thing, is when people say stuff like, oh, well, this was just happening. Well, it wasn't. The two people who were here can tell you it wasn't. But you're going to do that because you're running with your bullshit memes as usual, right? They always have to have a toxic, negative meme going on. And that was the running meme, supposedly, is that, oh, Phil just talked over her constantly the whole night. That didn't happen. Literally, factually didn't happen. Nice try. You failed again. Every time they got to make up. This is their running. So for 2 days, you know, that night and all yesterday, that's all. That's the meme about the night, is that Phil's an asshole. He wouldn't let his wife talk. Didn't happen. You're an idiot. You can believe it in your circle jerking circles. No one else believes you, because we all watched the videos. People were here live. They saw what happened and they had a good time.